A deep unease has settled over Spain's rolling hills. For generations, Spanish farmers have built a world-renowned pork industry, a cornerstone of their economy and national pride. Now that legacy faces a formidable threat: African swine fever, detected on Spanish soil for the first time in nearly 30 years. The news has sent shockwaves through the agricultural community, from small family farms to major exporters. This is not just a story about a disease, it's about livelihoods hanging in the balance, and an industry worth billions suddenly on the brink. Farmers who have spent their lives perfecting their craft now look at their herds with dread, hoping the invisible enemy stays away. The Spanish government has launched an unprecedented response, racing to protect a vital part of Spain's identity from a virus that shows no mercy. One farmer in Catalonia summed up the fear: "We have done everything right for years. Our biosecurity is strict, our animals are healthy, but this virus doesn't respect fences." The arrival of African swine fever in Spain is more than a domestic issue. It has immediate international consequences. Spain is the largest pork producer in the EU, with products sought after worldwide. The confirmation of the virus, even in wild animals, has already triggered trade restrictions from key partners. The economic shockwaves are just beginning, and the world is watching to see if Spain can hold the line. The pressure is mounting on every level of government and industry to navigate this storm. To grasp the fear gripping Spanish farmers, you must understand their adversary. African swine fever, or ASF, is a viral disease that is relentless and lethal, often a death sentence for pigs. The most severe strains cause high fever, internal bleeding, and death in nearly all infected pigs within a week. ASF poses no risk to humans. Pork remains safe to eat. The battle is not about public health, but animal health and economic survival. ASF is extraordinarily resilient, surviving in the environment, contaminated feed, and processed pork products. It spreads through direct contact, contaminated equipment, and even food scraps. There is no vaccine or cure, only prevention, strict biosecurity, and culling. Every farm must become an isolated island, protected from contamination. Farmers must be vigilant, monitoring for illness and enforcing strict disinfection. Containment is all or nothing, a fact that weighs heavily on everyone involved. The dreaded news arrived in late November 2025 near Barcelona. Rangers found 2 wild boar carcasses. Samples were rushed to Madrid's Central Veterinary Laboratory. On December 2nd, Spain's Ministry of Agriculture confirmed African swine fever in the wild boars, ending nearly 30 years of ASF-free status. More cases quickly followed in the local wild boar population, deepening the crisis. The outbreak's location, Catalonia, a pork powerhouse, was especially alarming. The region's dense wild boar and pig farm populations created a perfect storm for transmission. Wild boars, difficult to control, act as natural reservoirs for the virus, roaming freely and bridging the gap between forest and farm. Scar Ordig, Catalan Minister for Agriculture, acknowledged the danger. "We know wild boars are a vector of transmission and there is overpopulation." Farmers' associations had long warned about wild animal overpopulation. Now, their fears were realized. ASF and wild boars transformed them from a nuisance into a direct threat to Spain's second-largest industry. The race was on to stop the virus from leaping from wildlife to livestock. The Spanish government responded immediately, activating a national emergency plan and deploying the military emergency unit, usually reserved for natural disasters. Their mission: establish a sanitary cordon and prevent the virus from spreading. The military quickly scaled up to 150 personnel, equipped with specialized vehicles, decontamination units, and drones with night vision. Drones scoured Catalan forests, locating wild boar populations and carcasses for safe removal. A 20-kilometer high-risk zone was established around the outbreak. The UME, forestry agents, and veterinarians worked together to create a buffer between wild boars and pig farms. Intensive surveillance and removal of dead animals became the critical line of defense. This unprecedented collaboration combined military logistics with local expertise. So far, all tests on the 39 pig farms in the high-risk zone have returned negative, a crucial glimmer of hope. African swine fever threatens the heart of the Spanish economy. Spain is the EU's largest pork producer, accounting for 25% of output and exporting nearly $9 billion in 2024. The industry supports tens of thousands of jobs, especially in rural regions like Catalonia. An uncontrolled outbreak would be a social and economic catastrophe. The industry's export-driven model is also its greatest vulnerability. Access to international markets depends on disease-free status. Even a localized outbreak can trigger global bans, as importing countries fear the virus. Spanish producers and officials are desperate to avoid this scenario. Years of trust and reputation are at stake. Every shipment and contract is now shadowed by uncertainty. The fight to contain the virus is a fight to preserve Spain's reputation and market access. The international reaction was swift. China, Spain's most important pork market, immediately banned imports from Barcelona. In 2024, Spain exported over 540,000 metric tons of pork to China, worth more than $1.1 billion. The ban created chaos, prompting Spain to halt all pork shipments to China, in a bid to prevent a nationwide ban. Spanish officials are urgently negotiating for a regionalization policy, allowing exports from ASF-free regions. The future of a billion-euro trade relationship hangs on these talks. Other trading partners responded differently. South Korea and the US continue to accept pork from unaffected areas, but Mexico and Japan imposed nationwide bans. Millions of euros are lost each day. Broader bans remain. The crisis exposes the fragility of global supply chains and the importance of bilateral health agreements. For exporters, it's a lesson in geopolitics. Their product is safe, but access is blocked by national regulations. The fight for market access is now as critical as the fight against the virus. The industry's future depends on successful diplomacy and containment. Facing an existential threat, Spain mounted a coordinated defense, uniting government, regional authorities, and industry. Minister of Agriculture Luis Planas has worked closely with major pork sector groups to align strategy and share information. The core response: reinforcemos biosecurity, especially on the 39 farms in the surveillance zone, now under strict operational restrictions. Recognizing the financial strain, authorities quickly provided a 50 million credit line to help affected farmers and businesses. The government's support signals it will not let the industry collapse. This collaboration, government coordination, military containment, and farmers' vigilance, is Spain's greatest asset. The survival of the industry depends on this unity and shared resolve. The ASF outbreak's impact hit the market immediately. Even before trade bans, pork prices plummeted, exacerbating an already struggling European market. Farmers now face rising costs and falling prices, with export market closures creating a surplus that floods domestic and EU markets. It's a classic case of supply overwhelming demand, hurting farms nationwide. The EU market remains a lifeline as trade within member states continues. Ricard Perret of Porcat stressed the importance of EU access to keep the industry afloat. Still, it cannot fully replace the loss of high-value Asian markets. Farmers express frustration that healthy herds are penalized for a problem originating in wildlife. The westward jump of ASF into Spain is a warning. No country is immune, and vigilance is a shared European responsibility. Despite the crisis, hope persists in the Spanish pork industry. The most significant success: ASF has not been detected in a single domestic pig. Every test in the high-risk zone has come back negative, proving biosecurity measures are working. The unprecedented mobilization of resources, military, veterinarians, drones, shows Spain is using every tool available. Authorities are not just reacting, they're actively hunting the disease. The unity between government and industry is crucial for morale and compliance. Financial aid and constant communication reinforce this shared battle. There's a collective understanding that short-term sacrifices are essential for long-term survival. The goal: protect Spain's herd, regain international trust, and secure the industry's future. Through coordinated effort and resolve, Spain believes it can overcome this threat and ensure its celebrated pork industry ensures.